All you got to do is just stay in a room for 2 to 3 weeks and watch as much documentaries as you can, listen to as much testimonies as you can, and try to reflect and realize what could happen if you do the right thing versus if you do the wrong thing. Welcome back to another episode of Ways. My name is Mohammed,
My name is Osama,
and we are Ways.
the realest podcast in the world.
And with today's topic, we want to talk about the price of fame because everybody wants to be famous. Everyone wants the cars, the money, the status, being able to travel, meet different kinds of people in different parts of society, and be known for doing something that's impactful, having influence across the world, whether it's on old, middle, or young people. That's something that not everyone is given. It's only given to those who are capable, who possess a certain kind of talent, skills. They're just exceptional. But there's always a cost to everything, and fame is no different. And with that, it's always nice to talk about it, try to dissect why fame is so lustful, but at the same time is so troubling for those who are in such a cool position. And with that, we got to start no other than Ja Morant. Have you heard of what happened to him, Osama?
Honestly, it's. I think anybody in that stature, whether it's Ja Morant, any other celebrity, they're like when we say the price of fame. Yes, with that comes responsibility, and like you're not in the eye. It's like, for example, not every NBA player or any celebrity has that eye. Like, for example, if Drake were to do something, it's a bigger impact than an artist as if it was, I don't know, Lil Uzi, for example, or a smaller artist, because he has that sort of influence. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to be in the NBA. I'm not sure how many players a year. It's like 400, maybe less, that enter the NBA or they get drafted a year. I'm not sure how many players get drafted a year.
It's roughly like about 300 players.
Yeah, so 300 players, right, give or take. Out of everybody that goes, so 301 is not making it. And out of the 300 players, it's only maybe the top five players who end up being those big stars. Maybe out of the top five, only one guy actually is able to be that. Now, Ja Morant, bro, you're probably not listening, but if you ever do, I want you to listen to these words, bro. Don't know who you are, nor do I care. You're an amazing player, you're talented, but you have so much on your back. You're able to help your family, you're able to help your community get out this hood. I don't understand where this thug mentality is coming. Like, you're not a thug, you're a basketball player who's here to change the game. The point of becoming famous in a great way is to change your life for the better, not to live the same life and like act as if that you can use money for power. Like, come on, bro. Like, you have so much to do, and like you're really risking the NBA to just so people can think you're a thug or you're hard. Come on, bro. It's like stupid.
I think when it comes to Ja, number one, we don't understand what it's like to be that famous, to have that magnitude, to have all those eyes and ears and, just everyone on you. And number one, he's young. He's way young, super young. Allen Iverson, when he had that influence during the 2000s, I was a kid. And even though Allen Iverson was getting scrutinized for the whole hip hop culture that he introduced to the NBA, it wasn't how social media is as far as everyone having a voice and opinion and feeling that wave coming so frequent, right? I think with John Morant, yes, his past actions has not been in line with what an NBA superstar should be. Obviously, everyone looks at LeBron James as the model, the focal point, how you should act, how you
Mm-hmm.
should lead, how you should take care of yourself while being a superstar in the NBA, and mainly all sports. But we must understand not everyone is a LeBron James. Not everyone's going to react the same way or have the same discipline as LeBron James. So he
Mm-hmm.
is the threshold. So while working up to that, things will come your way. Number two, as far as his past actions with, the incidents we've heard about with him and the 17-year-old guy that came to his house or practice or the security guard, that's not in the third. Yes. Is he doing the wrong things? Maybe the influence of people around him are not telling him how to maneuver, what to do, what not to do, how to remove himself because, like you said, the odds are bigger when you have that status and that power, so you must use it for the right thing. But if we really want to help Ja Morant, because obviously myself, you, anyone else from afar, the only thing we could give him is advice, right? Like, you should do this, not do that. I think for Ja, it's like, bro, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know what the consequences are if you do certain things. Not saying that you're not allowed to do those things, it's just that with your fame and power and the influence that you potentially have, you cannot put yourself in certain situations. Why? Because of how it affects the franchise, your community, and the NBA. Because Osama, he might be one of the faces. After LeBron retires, it's going to be him, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
So knowing that you have that weight, you cannot be lackadaisical with your actions. You cannot.
Yeah, I love the word lackadaisical. Um, to add on to your point, I think it's really important that a lot of people feel when you're in a high stature, take away money. When you're in a high stature and you know that there is, I guess, a lot of eyes on you, right? Especially as an athlete or as an actor, people pay money to go see you, right? Or as a speaker, as a, so you always have to make sure that you're in the best image, you're in the best shape. Because Kobe Bryant used to always say, he's like, I do never want to go play a game where someone else paid money to go see me. I understand we still have a personal life, and no one's telling you you can't be a kid. You want to be a kid. Like I just saw he's 23 years old. You're a lot younger than a lot of athletes. Like at this point, you're expected to be an adult, and like you're probably still a kid. You're still trying to grow up in this league. That's fine, but make those conscious decisions because playing in the NBA is not a right; it's a privilege. These guys picked you amongst of 300 players. They believed in you, and now you got to prove to them that you belong in this league because they can kick you out. It's like a job. It's your job to play and perform, and to be respectful to your tiers and show a great image because they're not just going to take anybody. And the funny thing about regret is, Muhammad is like, bro, you can speak about it yourself. Is we only know we lost something when we actually lose it, and then it's like, ah, oh, man, like I'm no longer in the NBA. It doesn't matter how many good things you did. You just cut the. It's it. You cut the tie. You burnt the bridge. You can no longer build it. And even if you do, they're not gonna want you because it's like, well, you kind of screwed it up now, right? And I think a lot of people in that stat, like whether it's like a celebrity or even NBA player or whatever, be cautious. You're 23 years old. Do you really want to lose your career in basketball? Because yeah, that is a conversation right now. Like I think he's also been missing games so far. He's been suspended.
And no, yeah, and with being suspended, like, I guess my previous point, some people might think like I'm trying to justify his actions and lessen the, I don't know, his inability to measure out what's at stake. By all means, that's not the case. Yes, what he's been doing, how he grew up, is totally different from the mindset and the image he's trying to portray to society. So obviously, people are saying like, "Hey, man, you're not a thug. You didn't grow up in the hood. All these different things." That and the third, yes, that might be true. Whether he's trying to do it out of like an intention, like I want everyone to know that I'm bad, or maybe I'm just in love with the hip hop culture and certain parts of it, then I'm allowed to express myself. No different from someone expressing who they are, whether they're a painter or philosopher, skateboarder, like you name it. Like people, especially this generation, they love to express themselves in ways that are just, intangible. And once again, it is a cost that comes with that. Totally dangerous. Why? Because the image that you're trying to perpetuate and let it be known, super dangerous because the cost is deadly. Not negative, deadly. Like people lose their lives over this. So for you to be doing this, brandishing a gun in videos, live on your IG, your name and comfortable, going against, the team ethics and the codes and not abiding by what the NBA wants for you and how you should carry yourself as a superstar, yes, the actions that warrants is too deadly. And I'm not taking anything away from that. But once again, he is a young person, and we must figure out when someone is in that crux, the in between good and bad. What measures can we do as a society, and especially those who are close to him, to let him be known like, hey, you go left, it's over. You go right, it continues. Be wise.
You know what's so interesting is we could talk about the price of fame also in a different way. Like yes, as a younger when you're younger, especially when you're not exposed to it, it could hit you differently. And we can all say, "Oh, like I'll take care of it." Again, some people might not because getting fame right away is not easy to like handle. Specifically, even if you look at something which happened last year with Chris Rock and Will Smith, and obviously recently Chris Rock dropped his special
Selective outrage.
selective outrage. I don't know. I was gonna say strategic outrage. I'm like, it does not sound right. But anyways, obviously he ended off with like talking about Will Smith and or as he said, Suge Smith. And my point is this: is like, look how something sweats what Will Smith did in such a manner is now backbiting him. So it's really, yeah, we really have to be careful what we say, what goes out in the media, and like how we treat others. Because you leaving the hood, you leaving in an area where you know people are there for you and people are trying to see you grow from that area. You don't want to bring yourself back down. Makes no sense. Generally makes no sense. The point of this is to obviously continue to grow and continue to bring people around you and help them out with their goals. Yes, I think music, rap specifically now kind of go hand on hand with the NBA, the rap culture, the swag, the whole culture. But I still believe that it's basketball. At the end of the day, basketball should be first. I don't care how tough you are. Like you don't put yourself in a situation where it's between life and death. And at this point, it's like, oh, like you think you're a thug. I don't know. I don't know who you guys think you are. At the end of the day, you've been chosen for a reason. Well, I don't care who you are, celebrity, actor, rapper, athlete. You've been chosen for a reason. People believe in you, and because people believe in you, you owe them their right to be healthy 24/7. They came to see you, specifically athletes. They came to see you. We paid money to go see you perform
And yeah,
100%.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like the thing is, I'm not saying anything you're what you just said or anyone else. What everyone's been saying is wrong. It's just that for him, how he grew up, whether he had a good lifestyle, good childhood, and everything, and then versus what he always wanted to be, and now that he has that, like you said, you always said money doesn't expose who you are. It just like accentuates it, right?
Exactly.
Um, so with him having that fame, that power, that glory, maybe growing up he always looked up to Lil Wayne or Ti or some of these rappers who just like had that power, that swag, maneuver with the big entourage and everything. Couldn't tell them nothing, you know. So the fact that he has that, it's like, oh, I get to be like one of my heroes or people I look up to growing up. So it's not me trying to be a thug or anything. It's just me expressing myself and taking on that. But of course, once again, us people watching that, we're not with you. We don't know how you grew up. So we might perceive it another way. But regardless, whether we perceive it or not, whether you're trying to express yourself or not, the actions and the consequences are deadly because if you're not separating the two or don't let it be known, hey man, no person is going to take the time to invest in you if they want to kill you. They could care less. If you got what they want, they put in the work. All it takes is a few seconds or 2 minutes, and that's it. So they don't need to find out whether you're actually about it or not, right? You put it out there,
Hmm.
it comes to you, right? And that's the danger. That's the price of fame. Once again, the whole synopsis of this episode. Super, super dangerous.
Do you think that the people he's around have a huge part in terms of his how bad his behavior has been?
Of course, my favorite question. Yeah, of course. And that's the thing. This is why I love and hate this question because Osama knows how I feels about this. It's like maybe his entourage or his boys from college or his boys from elementary school or from high school, middle school, like that's your crew. So you guys grew up together. You guys went out together, had fun together, listened to the same music, played the video games, 2K, all these things. And you guys literally went from trying to go from boys to men. But obviously the transition is not happening right, but they probably don't know that. And the reason why it hurts is because clearly no one in his crew has the foresight or the vision to tell him like, yo, we watch you work day in, day night, day in and day out, practice throughout the whole day, the whole year, different seasons, in the rain, snow, fall, you name it, to get to this point. We can't let you mess up and go all the way back to where we came from. So yo, you gotta chill. You gotta relax. We're gonna stay in tonight. We're not gonna go out. People might try us. Like no one in his crew is telling him like, yo, you gotta slow down, man. All this can end because as you already know, as a young person, maybe someone, whether it's an OG, his father, uncle, mother, aunt, family friend, they might tell you something, but maybe he might feel like you haven't on my level, so I'm not gonna listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an NBA player, a former one, could tell him, but who knows? Maybe he doesn't have respect for those former NBA players. So if no one could get to him, at least someone in his crew, that one person could tell him like, "Yo, chill. You gotta relax. We're
Yeah,
not doing this. This is not how we move."
exactly.
Look at LeBron. When LeBron first came into the league, he came with a plan. Him, his boys, Rich Paul, Maverick Carter, they're gonna set out to change how we conduct business. Before an NBA superstar had to pick an agent, had to pick an accountant through all these agencies that are in cahoots with each other. LeBron's like, you know what? We came from Akron, Ohio. People think we're thug. People think we're poor. People think we're dirty. Guess what? I'm going to be the best basketball player of all time. I'm going to make sure my friends go to the best schools, get to know how to run a company, how to be a good executive, what it takes to really go from nothing to something. And look where they are now. Look at what Paul has done with Clutch Sports. Look what Maverick Carter has done with Uninterrupted. Like they become media, global sports empires, conglomerates.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron had that mindset from day one at age 18. And like I said, not everyone's LeBron, not everyone's Osama, not everyone's Mohammed. But the point is, look towards those guys. History, the reason why I love history is because if you just study history for 10 to 20 minutes in any category, you look at those who were become the best of the best and those who became the worst of the worst. And all because of the mentality and poor or amazing decision makings that they made during that time in their prime. Because the prime is short, it's very small, it's not large.
Mm-hmm.
How you use your prime determines how you get to relax or really struggle after it. So, Ja, especially the people in his crew, look at LeBron, look at other successful people, Messi, Ronaldo, all these different guys who've been able to transcend their personality in their respective sport. And look at those who blew all their money super fast in their prime. And once they retired, struggling, doing drugs, depression, mental health, doing whatever kind of job just to try to stay on and have to face the man in the mirror as far as that blame for yourself, the blame from society thinking you're a failure, and that's a reality you do not want to be on. So, job, it's that easy. All you got to do is just stay in a room for 2 to 3 weeks and watch as much documentaries as you can, listen to as much testimonies as you can, and try to reflect and realize what could happen if you do the right thing versus if you do the wrong thing. What do you think, Osama?
Bro, that was well said. I just want to touch on a point. But you're saying watch, like pretty much go back in time and kind of watch footage. I and the thing is too, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh well, you guys wouldn't know, you're not famous. Yeah, you're right. Me and Muhammad are not famous. Not even close to being famous. But we do know that if one day with our growing platform, if we do end up having one, yes, and by the way, it has nothing to do with age because maturity does not come with age. Maturity comes with experience. Maturity comes with experience. And you use the example of LeBron and his boys. He came from Akron, Ohio. He made sure his boys were educated, taken care of. He's like, yo, this is our vision now. Not his vision, this is our vision. We're trying to make, and look how successful he is. Like, if I was John, I'm like, listen, I have the opportunity not to help my boys with their ventures, with my ventures, and make it our venture and help the community. Make more jobs, allow people to work for you, make more businesses. The point of being successful, and this is my thing, and I because we said fame has a price to it, and here's my thing where I want to go with this is you or anybody who's famous, who's successful, right? You can easily do whatever you want. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can be foolish, but then that opportunity can be taken away. And we can go back in history of people's opportunity being taken away. But when I look at myself, the reason why I want to be successful is because I want to help out others. A lot of people are looking at me like, I want attention, I want this, I want that. That's cool. That's not going to last long. Because what if, God forbid, someone hits your car, someone steals your watch, someone breaks into your house? That's not happiness. But seeing other people that you're uplifting and you're helping them through education or helping them through whatever it may need and partnering up with them making businesses, that's smarter because it's like you're now investing in people. You're not investing in products. You're investing in people because people will build products that you can be a part of. And I think that's for Ja or any artist who's like going through trouble, or any celebrity for that sake of matter who's going through trouble and is having times were tough. Obviously, in the past, there was like Justin Bieber, Kanye West for a while, and obviously, just to name a few people. Go watch footage. Muhammad's right. Go watch footage. Go see those people who made mistakes. Me and Muhammad have always said a smart man learns from mistakes, but an intelligent man learns from other people's mistakes, and learn from other people's mistakes because I've always gotten taught certain things are privileges, and one of them is money, being successful, because that can easily be taken away from you. If it was a right to be successful, then everybody would be successful. Everybody would have fame. But it's not the case. There's 8 billion people on Earth, if not more, and only a few people are successful who are also known. So you telling me, if you're in a position of power and a position of fame, what are you doing to maintain it and making sure your image is well respected amongst the people in the community?
And yeah, like you said, 300 players in the NBA, the person that was 301, 305, 310 is not inside the NBA. Imagine being that close and having to try year after year, and you get to a point where your body breaks down and it's done. Especially in football.
Yeah.
Imagine like you vested like 10 to 15 years, and finally when you're about to get on, you get that fatal injury and it's done. Those guys, their stories, their testimonies, it's some of the most saddest things on earth. How do you transition? How do you try to make sense out of something that was supposed to be perfection, but it turned out to be a nightmare? And when
Mm-hmm.
you find out those people that were actually able to be on a trajectory from sadness to happiness through faith, number one, because God is the all knowing, the most merciful, you put yourself in the best situation. But, and actually, you know what? We didn't talk about this. This is a good perspective as well. The ego.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because if the ego is inflated, man, will you have delayed reaction when it comes to someone telling you not to do something because you do not think that that person knows or is in the best interest of what you're trying to pursue. So if Ja Morant, if his ego is that high, that inflated, and doesn't want to come down, people always get humbled in the best of manners, but obviously you feel like crap because it wasn't the way that you wanted or went against what you were set out to do. So, Ja, relax, take it easy. Remember how it was to not have anything. I don't know what that experience was for you, but if you reflect, it will come back to you. And
Yeah.
then know the position and power that you have and the weight of any decision you make. Not saying it's fair, but hey, everything is designed a certain way. So that's why for us, especially as Muslims, it's like, man, if you're poor and you have nothing and you tell God you want to be the richest person on earth, and you become that person, but you choose not to help others while being rich and look down on others and try to flaunt and think as if it was your own work, your own intelligence over what God has decreed for you, you do not learn the lesson and you will often learn the hard way. So that's why for us, it's like we always try to take a step back and think about the
Yeah.
hikmah, like the wisdom in all actions. In all
D-
actions. Because like Osama
yeah.
said, we're not famous now, but even on a small scale, we know how to maneuver, we know how to interact, whether with guests, celebrities, our friends, who's for us, who's not for us, how to make certain decisions as we try to scale up. So therefore, if we do scale up, inshallah, it's more easier because why? We're more cognizant, we're more disciplined, and we are aware of the consequences of making such lame, lackadaisical, stupid mistakes because I'm not going to tolerate it. Osama is not going to tolerate it. And obviously, if people are invested in us, from your parents, friends, and loved ones, they will tell you the first thing, like, yo, you got to chill. You're not doing the right thing. But if the ego is totally in your face, man, you'll find out soon enough that you're in the wrong place. Very soon.
Well said. And I think my last point would be this: Ja Morant, bro, stop thinking you're gonna hit people, hit them up, and start hitting them books up, bro. Like you're not.
Facts.
Like honestly,
Facts. Learn from Tupac, bro. Like, we
bro,
love Tupac, Biggie, all these people. Learn from their
Tupac,
stories.
Tupac is a prime example. Like hit him up. When you listen to the song at the time, again, we weren't even aware enough of the song at the time, but like listening back to it, I understand why that song is captivating because it can get you in an angry mood. You're in the gym,
The
it can
power.
get you in
The
that
power.
mood, you know. But what we don't realize listening to that song is like there's a lot of death threats going to like certain people in that song. As much as you can love Tupac, and I guess if Tupac were still alive, he would probably want that song off of all streaming services,
Of course.
you know. And for John Morant or for any celebrity, bro, Muhammad just said one thing: wisdom, hikmah, bro. Like you have so much wisdom, dude. Like you're number three. You're definitely not your number 300. You're definitely like a top 10 pick, probably. And with that being said, know that there's a kid watching you right now who might end up being an NBA player. He might learn after you and be like, "Well, Ja did this, so I'm gonna do this," as opposed to saying, "Man, Ja was the reason why I entered ball. He left from my hood. He's now like one of the best players. I want to verse him one day." You want that conversation. You want a conversation where like someone's speaking bad about you, you know? So hit them books up, go back and like obviously do the research, do the history. That goes for everybody, by the way. By the way, like again, Muhammad said, me and Muhammad are not a big platform. Like, yeah, we're decent. People listen to us across the world, but we do know that we're much more cautious of what we post online. And I think if anything, if we want to have fun amongst each other, we don't need that online. We can just live privately, chill out. Because once it gets online, it's never leaving. And Muhammad has said that multiple times. Once it's online, it's never leaving. It's stuck forever. That video will resurface 20 or 30 years from now, 40 years from now, maybe when you're dead. And the last image they have of you is that video. And that's the last image you want of you. Because when you're
And
dead,
one
you
thing,
can't speak about
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, facts. And one thing I want to say quickly is that maybe it might be annoying for him because I can sympathize because who knows how he grew up. Maybe the family did struggle and then they moved to the suburbs. And with that, people might have tested you because of how you grew up, who your dad was, and all these different things. But they don't know how connected you are to different areas and stuff. So you get put on, you want to let people know, like, hey, you might perceive me as this, but I'm really that. And I could relate because obviously I've been living in Oakville most of my life, but people don't know where I was born, how I grew up, and how I still have ties and connects to those places, and how often I'm in those places. But most people don't know and will never know. So obviously, people get to know me and see me. They're gonna associate with me growing up in the suburbs and thinking that I'm one way, but not knowing that I'm connected on both sides. And that's a feeling that suck. It's annoying, but you have to muster through it and know that not everyone is gonna have the best interest in you. And if someone doesn't like you, you think they can actually take the time to really get to know your story. So
No.
knowing that, you have to have more patience. They don't know how you grew up. They don't care about that. They just care that you have more money than them. You might have more status. You get to meet the people that they want to meet, but they'll never get to meet. So therefore, if they could just insult you in person, they'll say whatever they can to get a reaction out of you. If they can say something about your mom over the phone or through a text or a DM, they'll say those things because they want a reaction out of you. So knowing that people are trying, the devil is trying to get in and seep out whatever benefits you could bring to your community, do not allow it. Just have a strong mentality. Focused. Just move on. Keep going. Push through. Because what do they know? Them trying to destroy your future makes them no different. But if you give them the chance, then you're elevating their platform or their credibility. And for those people, they have no credibility. Why? Because to really go out of your way to try to ruin someone's future, it's just the worst of the worst.
Peace. You guys thought we were done? I don't think so. We still gotta wrap it up. Please follow me at Kusa300. Follow my co-host Mohammed at Mohammed.global. Make sure to follow our page at Instagram. Also, make sure to subscribe to all our platforms. We drop every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Thank you. We'll see you next week.